The Growing Your Future podcast is brought to you by Aberhart Ag Solutions. Join us as we talk to top entrepreneurs, agronomists, retailers, and producers in the agricultural space about their methods of obtaining success in their endeavors.
It's very exciting to have a big proponent of our product and good friend in the industry, Marcel van Staveren, on the line today. Marcel, I guess I'll let you tell a little bit about your business history, but Marcel to me is just a mover and a shaker influencer in the farming community, and the thing I love about Marcel is he's so willing to share his thoughts, his views, his opinions on social media, and there's a high value there for everybody else who's looking for different input. And let's face it, farming is kind of a lonely business. You're out there on your own, you're making tons of decisions. You know, social media has allowed us a glimpse into other people's lives and businesses, and that gives us a little bit of reference in which to operate in their business space. And Marcel, you're one of the guys that's been very active on social media and sharing what you do, and you've had a very interesting background in farming and at times retail and perhaps some other businesses. But I'm excited to have you on board this morning, and welcome to our webinar.
Yeah, thanks very much for making me a small piece of this today. Absolutely.
Very, very good. So the first thing is, Marcel, for people that don't know you, I know you are well connected in the ag industry through university and through your travels and different things that you've been involved with. But for anybody who doesn't know you out there, just tell us a little bit about yourself and your business and how you got to where you are today.
Yeah, sure. I guess it all starts back in the late 1980s in terms of beginning this whole networking idea, and University of Saskatchewan took a 4-year degree and crammed it into 5 years, and had a lot of fun along the way, and there's a lot of stories involved there, from University of Alberta trips to all over. But nonetheless, a lot of great contacts made then, and spent 2 years as a chemical rep in southern Alberta, and after that went to setting up our ag retail business, Precision Ag, in southeast Saskatchewan. So that was in the fall of 1994, and I was involved there for 10 years as an owner and manager. So 10 years in the business till 2004, and all along the way just kept growing our family farm business with my two brothers that were full-time farming. So we had this farm that was growing, and so at the crest of 2004, let's say, it became obvious with a growing family. We've adopted children from Ukraine. We have a biological child of our own, and trying to keep all these balls in the air and do it well, sold out of the ag retail business to focus on the full-time farming and family, so we've kind of taken this what was once maybe a 2,000 or 3,000 acre farm, depends on what timeline you go with, and we're now seeding 20,000 acres this spring. So but again, there's two brothers and myself involved here, and that dilutes the scale of this farm down, and we've got one full-time nephew in here that's got a diploma in agriculture, and another nephew with a degree that's joining us this spring to farm as well. So yeah, we're and my son's in his first year of agriculture, but he's working abroad this summer. And so that's kind of what we're a direct seeding continuous cropping farm in the moist dark brown soil zone of southeast Saskatchewan, and growing a handful of crops and from lentils and peas and soybeans on the leguminous side of our lives to canola and cereals, including winter wheat, and try to keep as much durum going as we can that we dare grow to meet a milling grade in a fusarium world.
Well, hey, that's amazing background, and one of the things I really appreciate about you is you just seem to be having a lot of fun growing your business and farming, and got a great attitude towards it, and always excited about new things. It's kind of like with our product, you really embraced it. And it just seems like you're having a really good time farming. When you guys are going about your business over the years here, and you're working with your staff and the people that you associate with in the business, obviously you do business with a lot of people. What would you say are some of the core values that you hold near and dear that you kind of always stick to as principles to get your business done in the best possible manner, would you say?
Well, I guess surrounding ourselves with good people, and whether that's our fellow staff to we're trying to build a good template here for all of us with roles and responsibilities on the farm to help as the farm grows, to help this go in a better fashion. But ultimately, like all from the retail perspective to we kind of reach beyond, I guess, and going to research farms and staying abreast with my former university professors and researchers across the West. It's and once again, social media has helped that immensely. If we have a question, we put it on Twitter to Don Flayton, soil science or head of soil science, yes, at the University of Manitoba, or to Regis Karamanos out of Calgary, and within minutes or half a day, you get a response from one of these academics, and there's one in every state or province, and quickly we get interaction. So anyhow, surrounding ourselves with a great team.
Yeah, no, that's really, really key. And you do business with so many people, both directions in terms of output and input in farming, and having a great relationship with researchers and suppliers and all that is key. So I'll just segue into the social media piece since you brought it up, and obviously you touched on the networking piece, but as somebody whose role is professionally is to succeed on Twitter, it's kind of funny because I think somebody actually had mentioned they blocked biosol as a keyword yesterday, and I kind of felt bad because I just posted 4 tweets, and maybe they're getting overloaded with tweets about biosol. But it's our job professionally to bring the product to market through social media, and it's a great tool for us. But my question to you as a fellow professional tweeter is like, how do you do so many tweets in a day? You're very prolific, Marcel. I'm envious, I have to admit.
I guess I'm starting to get concerned when if I'm perhaps I am making more tweets than I realize. Nonetheless, it's a great opportunity. I guess I've mentioned this a number of weeks ago. Somebody posted, what is what is your reasoning for being in Twitter, and something to my effect was aligning myself with like-minded people and aligning myself with people of that aren't alike, however bring unique ideas and perspectives. So I like the diversity you're able to choose from, and people that are all in our business, and we all think we're doing great things, and I'm sure we are, but there is always some hybrid opportunities to make things even better and or challenge what we're doing. So I think the Twitter idea is awesome, and it's something where I'm trying not to do that here, is talk too much and bring up too much. So on Twitter, you've got limited characters, so that's a good disciplinary thing for us as well.
Well, if only we could limit ourselves in conversations to, I guess it's 240 characters now or less. Perhaps we'd be more effective. I know I'd have a huge problem with that. I think I need like a couple thousand characters per response with the way I talk, but it is an interesting exercise when you only have so much space to say what you want to say and get her done. But I love the fact that you're so authentic and you share so much on social media. I think a lot of other people in your network really appreciate that too. And it's always great to know what you're up to, and you have a really unique perspective. And what I like is it's kind of you often just flow with the dialogue in terms of what you're up to, and gives you a good sense of what's going on in your corner of the world and how you're approaching your farming business. So that's cool. Can you just give me a little bit of an overview of how you approach your whole agronomy and your fertility and VR and all that jazz? Just kind of give me the Coles Notes about how you go about giving the plants the love they need in terms of nutrients and so forth.
Yeah, I guess the first thing that came to mind is involvement when I was at the ag retail business, and I became involved with the Indian Head Agriculture Research Foundation, or IHARF, and had an opportunity to be on the board of directors for 6 years at Indian Head, and in fact had a role as president there in the end of my term, and it was an outstanding opportunity to get involved with research 1 hour from my farm, and it was very relevant, and getting to know these academics that have the lab coat on, and they're out there applying and carrying out this research, and and then all the networking that goes beyond that as you meet them at the summer tour and you get to the January meetings, and it's just a great opportunity to once again to find some real local meaningful stuff. And from there, the annual SSCA Zero Till conferences, I've haven't missed a lot of them in my life, and these things. And then suddenly you're going to the one down in North Dakota or Mandak, and you start to realize how small this space is that we all exist in, and we're seeking common goals of efficiency and maximum yields and economic returns. So those are the pieces, I guess, that come to mind, and ultimately also aware that we can't lean too hard on our people that are. Soils change so much from within a field, let alone 15 miles away. So the right agronomic planter for somebody 20 miles away may not be suitable for your farm or mine. And so anyhow, it's always interesting to, as a fact-finding individual, where I enjoy all the opportunities I can to converse with many different people to try to come up with the right answers for me, I guess, agronomically.
So are you doing your own agronomy, or do you have an independent agronomist, or are you using the retail?
So we've been involved with Crop Pro at Anacum, Corey Wilness, and he's been an outstanding individual with us. He's our primary guy that we do 90% of our VR with. We dabble outside the edges there with Farmer's Edge. We've enjoyed weather stations, and they'd be embarrassed if this is how I lead on it, but it is. And ultimately, there's a lot of data that we're collecting that I'm still trying to figure out how I can get value from that, and that's something I need to spend time in January more on. But so we are doing some real variable rate work based off of real data, I would call it, where we have a Varus telling us our electrical conductivity and our soil texture, and giving us long-term measurements that we can make better decisions on in terms of farming by the square meter or whatever with our 80 or 100 foot drills.
So where is the gap in the industry that you see right now between maybe it's people or technology that you'd like, if you could hit the easy button in terms of precision farming, what would the easy button trigger to get you to where you want to be? What are you missing right now? Are you missing anything?
Well, yeah, I had an opportunity to see a fantastic interview with Christian Hebert, and he's always a guy on the leading edge in terms of looking for ways to do things better, and I'm certainly intrigued last year, especially so, and we're more interested in what's going on in the soil than we are what's falling from above, as nothing was falling from above. So the soil moisture probes at John Deere and Ryan Hutchinson are investing a lot of time and resources, or John Deere, I guess, is a piece of Ryan Hutchinson, and basically having real-time measurements of plant available soil moisture in our soils is another piece that I'm going to be seeking out.
Right. Yeah, we had Kendall Gee at the Trusted Applicator, our last Trusted Applicator Summit, and Ryan Hutchinson as well. And I know Elson works with them a lot. And that's some pretty intriguing technology for sure. And that's going to continue to evolve quickly. And I think the hardware will continue to evolve. But it sounds like they got some good interpretive software there. And that kind of data is going to be pretty critical. I think especially as people go to more precise placement of very specific nutrients. I think my futuristic impression is that one day we'll look back and I'll sort of be like, whoa, we were sort of cavemen in terms of just blasting on things everywhere. Of course, BioCell is a unique product in that sense, but I think product placement's going to get so specific. I mean, talking with a buddy of mine in the industry last night, who's in the equipment industry, he's talking about some sort of helicopter technology coming out of Ukraine that's going to have 100-liter tank that's going to spray Lord knows how many acres extremely precisely. Like this stuff is here, and I think it's going to, nutrient, giving the plant what it needs at the time it needs it through the use of sensors and automated data, I think is going to be huge. It's going to be huge, and I guess that'd be a good segue into the retail landscape as such. I just wanted to get your thoughts. You were in the retail business for a while, as you alluded to. Of course, you've done some unique things in sourcing nutrients as a producer. Where do you kind of see the retail landscape evolving to with, there's been a lot of amalgamation. You're involved with Comtrax Logistics, direct farm, the bricks and mortar retailers, FBN, all that good stuff. Where do you see it going, and where would you like it to go?
Yeah, I guess locally, I like to say, and I think I do believe this. I starts with agronomy, and I've felt that as I go to the Indian Head annual summer tour in the middle of July, or at the University of Saskatchewan, and I don't seem to see my input providers showing up at these local and or regional learning opportunities, and although I hate to criticize because they could be there the day before or day after, but I kind of suspect a lot of them are tired and they're at the lake or what have you. So I'm often not feeling I'm getting great current recommendations that might not be the cutting edge that I'm seeking. So I've and because ultimately I'm passionate about the agronomy and the production side of this whole business, that I'm in there like a ferret with a rat. So I'm out there looking for it, and I guess so. Then I'm devaluing or I'm very price sensitive on the input side, so I'm looking for opportunity to help cutting out costs and expense, and ultimately farm direct opportunities and handling bulk is something we're never afraid of, and we've done this for various years, and back in the retail business as well, we were doing rail cars of phosphate, for an example, or any nutrient granular, and we would go to some one-horse town and unload cars and haul it in, and if there was a margin opportunity there to improve our position, we took advantage of it, and that's what we do on the farm. So certainly, we've basically seeking it as a commodity purchase for the most part.
Well, that's probably a good segue into the inevitable shameless plug here for BioSol, but I guess it was the fall of 2015 when we first liaisoned with you, and I think it was through the Power Farm that we connected. Would that be correct to say, Marcel?
Yes, I would say so.
Yeah, so you're part of a focus group that Eberhard Farms is on, and we could touch on that too. You're part of the Power Farm group. Can you tell us a little bit about that and what you do before you get into BioSol?
Certainly, yeah. No, we're been involved with that proudly for whatever it's been, 4 or 5 or 6 years. And basically, there's about 12 farms in our Power Farm group involved through AgriTrend, and we're all throughout Manitoba, Saskatchewan, Alberta. So we're far enough away from one another that we are perceived as experts amongst each other, and but nonetheless, mostly be described as average to above average farms, and all involved with different things outside of the farms, but nonetheless. Predominantly, it's about our farms and about how we all run our businesses, whether it's down from management to human resource to agronomy, and we share a lot of great ideas that are working, and we're helping each other's businesses. It's all a new. It becomes new, or has become new in the last 20-some years, where suddenly, you're looking at retention of labor and making people feel valued in the business, and giving them roles, responsibilities that you can measure their performance on, and that kind of thing. So like racy charts, and we're bringing that to our staff, and so those are some things that the Power Farm Group, I guess, has done. And we have an annual summer tour, so we go to one of the members' farms every summer, and so we've found ourselves out close to Winnipeg and Portage, and a beautiful landscape out there. And I think we're off to Alberta perhaps next year, and so that's a great learning opportunity.
Well, and for us, it was really interesting when we started this business. I mean, we used a lot of the resources that we already had existing in place, and one of them was Power Farm Group, where we approached all these high quick starts and really aggressive producers that were open to all kinds of new stuff, and that's where a lot of our initial business came from. And I think there's still a couple guys in the Power Farm Group I got to I got to get some biosol on there, namely Jim Pallister and Jeff Carlson, but a lot of them from the network have been really good at promoting the product and been an advocate. So for yourself there, we had gotten together. I think you had referred me actually to Dave Beach, who ultimately ended up becoming a dealer. And Dave, in the fall of 2015, your neighbor there and friend and associate in the business, had bought a DN 345 full type spreader and was looking for different ways to utilize it on his farm. I think his original vision was to put some Super U on and stuff, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, we sat around the kitchen table there and talked about biosol, and since then you've pretty much done your farm here, I think, hey? Close to being?
Yeah, that's right. We've got it all covered over three falls, and I guess there's been an incremental growth here of some extra acres that we will have to maybe discuss on a spring note here for the spring. But yeah, it's been a great fit for us.
Well, I'm always willing to discuss extra tonnage, Marcel. You know that. But
absolutely, I'm sure that door's open.
Just want you to know, everyone out there, love to discuss tonnage. But I think it'd be really interesting to know just how it's gone for you. We talked about this a little bit in our pre-interview, but I think some cool things have come out from the biosol, beyond the biosol. But just tell us like how it went for you. Now you've got your own spreader, you got your farm done, you've seen the results as you've gone. A couple of other interesting things have happened as a result of the biosol piece. Just tell us how your experience has been and how it's gone since 2015.
Yeah, like I guess ultimately when I was thinking about this yesterday, we were so proud in the early 1990s to go to a one-pass farming system and try to be as mean and lean and try to make money in a tight margin business, and so we were successful in getting there and minimizing some of our investment that we have on our farms. But as we've grown and as grain markets have become greater than satisfactory, we've been tweaking things on our farms that are pushing yields in opportunistic years, and that's kind of where this floating thing comes in. We kind of had a long-term fear of adding extra and more equipment. However, obviously my farm is pretty heavily weighted in machinery and refining value and can go to the wall in justifying it. But ultimately, spreading fertilizer has actually been a real good thing, and we suddenly had a year like 2015 where we could feel like we were Southern Alberta irrigation farmers, and we had opportunities to push yields and get value in from protein enhancement to over-the-top canola results, and so owning a spreader and taking advantage of a lower-priced sulfur that has a fantastic slow release that we've observed over time. That we're happy to own a spreader, and in fact we have two of them now, so we can take advantage of opportunities for higher yields and whether that's spreading unique nitrogen products as well and that kind of stuff.
How does that cloth work on the front of that BBI?
Well, it's a great tractor. I love that tractor. I'm unfortunately I'm the only guy on the farm that really loves it, and it's got a great transmission.
Like that.
Yeah, we just kind of have outgrown it from its role. We have this 100-foot Seedmaster we bought from Ritchie Brothers, and that tractor won't handle it, so we need to go to get up to a little more horsepower. But nonetheless, on the spreader, it's a fantastic overpriced tractor, perhaps for that work. It's a good thing. But yeah, we could tell everybody today that there's a tractor for sale at 1,100 and some hours, and it's very good for your 550 horsepower or less need.
Absolutely, yeah. Just go to Marcel's Twitter at Marcel Van ST, and he's got this. How do you pronounce that? Xerion 5000 for sale.
Yeah, that's very good. Yeah, that's a Claas Xerion tractor. Yes.
It's a beautiful tractor. And so you got that for sale.
I'm sorry, Dan.
You got the tractor for sale, 1,150 hours, $385,000. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, that's what we're asking for it, and we've got a replacement quad track coming in, we mainly run John Deere 2-track tractors, but we needed this for this 100-foot Seedmaster Goliath and a train of stuff that we're pulling, and including the ammonia and some new land with some rolling hills is we need a bigger footprint on the ground, I guess.
So now that you've got this spreader and you're using biosalt, how has that affected? I see you're pulling in different fertilizers on rail cars and this and that. Like, how's that worked for you, and what's your vision going forward with using the spreader and kind of sourcing fertilizer direct and so forth?
Yeah, like the biosol thing has been very, very convenient. It keeps us working hard all fall in terms of post harvest. There's an opportunity to get more field work done, and we're actively trying to get our perennial weeds taken care of, and the sulfur thing just fits in very well, and it's something you can surprisingly carry out well into December, and matter of fact, unfortunately, we could do it today. Normally we're into a snowpack by December 10th or so, but not this year. And anyhow, so no, it fits to be able to handle that. It's a fantastic job to do in late fall, and it's a piece that's no longer part of our. At one time we were using S15, which was it's a fine product. It's an onion skinned homogeneous. Whatever sales pitch I've read about it, and I've used S15, but to be able to take that out of my air drill's life and at the price point that we're able to do this at, it's making sense to spread elemental sulfur in a long-term perspective for our farm.
What else are you spreading? Are you spreading any phos?
Well, we're doing virtually none of that, but I was on a boat in Hawaii with this guy from Wisconsin that scolded me on growing soybeans and telling me that, but then sharing with me high phosphate solutions to try to get these soybean yields even better. So we're just starting to do a little bit of broadcasting of phosphate, but no, predominantly it's trying to be advantageous to rains and high moisture and getting our protein levels higher on our cereals. So it's mainly a nitrogen fertilizer application that we'd be doing in June.
One of the interesting things that guys experience once they have the spreader is just all the different opportunities that come up. Are you spreading any nitrogen at all with it, or have any plans?
Like I'm certainly looking this spring, because I'm wrong on anhydrous ammonia and pricing. We can't buy ammonia till now, and I've had some pricing shared with me, but it's at a price point that I'm. So anyhow, my eyes are wide open to other opportunities, whether I buy naked urea and do some coating with some aftermarket products, and once again, I'm gonna probably be watching this snowfall and that kind of thing, and deciding which product to use, and maybe spreading in front of air drills or doing some of both. Some lighter rates of ammonia put on 50-60% of my needs, and then going out after the rainfall occurs in June. Normally we put it all down for home runs at the day of seeding and or in the fall, but as ammonia. But we'll be looking more at urea here for this spring.
Yeah. Speaking of fertility and logistics, tell us a little bit about this Comtrax logistics project that you're involved with.
Sure. Yeah. There's a group of us here out of Weyburn that have started this initiative. Basically, it's Comtrax is we're trying to set up a logistics hub for all products for Southeast Saskatchewan, and whether that's stuff to go out of the province or out of the area or into the area, and that relates to oil field or grain or other components in producing electricity for Saskatchewan. There, fly ash that comes out of some of the coal electrical production facilities, and many things that are coming in on trucks should not be and should be by rail, and basically our Comtrax logistics hub is a loop track that we're wanting to establish here. We have land optioned along CP Rail's line that's called the Sioux Line, just southeast of Weyburn, about 5 or so miles. And we have 800 acres option that we can we can do this right along CP Rail's track, and it takes a long time to get dialogue with the rail entity such as CP or CN Rail, but we have had success there, and it looks like we can press ahead with this, and ultimately it will allow opportunity for any product to come in by rail, and maybe that'll include biosol, maybe it'll include bulk glyphosate by rail, and some type of a terminal that way. It's certainly catching. Right now, the oil differential is so substantial that the transporters of oil are by pipeline are certainly taking their chunk of hide out of the producers of oil, and oil by rail makes a lot of sense right now, and there's a significant amount of money to be made by oil producers to ship by rail. And unfortunately, most of us wouldn't want to defend that it should be by pipeline, but the government of the day and that direction is not all about pipelines and moving things efficiently that way. So there's an opportunity in the next 5 years for sure, and likely longer for oil by rail. So that's what this is a logistics hub, and there's so many things, once again, including what we talked about today, from products to come in. So it's a logistics hub.
No, that's really cool. I attended a meeting. I thought it was a great initiative. I mean, it could be a great opportunity for biosol and lots of other different products in the industry, and infrastructure is so critical to being competitive on the world stage, right? I think one of the things that we do really well here is we got sophisticated infrastructure, being inland as we are. We're just damn good at what we do, and infrastructure like this is part of that. So I thought it was a great initiative, and I was really excited to be involved in a couple different levels if we get the opportunity. I guess you can go to comtrax.ca or check them out on Twitter, Comtrax, LOGSOL. So check that out. That's really great that you're involved with that, and I think it'll move the industry forward in terms of when it gets going there. The other thing I wanted to touch on with you is a really interesting thing, moving a little bit out of the realm of what we've been chatting about, is this Oksana's Harvest Limited. So you're involved with a charity here. It's pretty neat. Can you tell us a little bit about Oksana's Harvest Limited and your involvement with that, Marcel?
Sure. Yeah. We I guess it was in 2014 that we adopted two sisters from Ukraine, from an orphanage. We had an opportunity to host some children. So we, I guess to back up, we do have a biological son, and then our second son we adopted as an infant from Ukraine also. So he was a year and a half old, and today he's 16, and we thought that was the end of our family. However, we had an opportunity again to host some children from an orphanage in Ukraine, and so we brought them in for the summer and chose a pair of sisters, and ultimately, I guess the rest is history, because they're part of our family now, and they're our children, and they were 11 and 13 years old when we brought them over, and successfully adopted them. And anyhow, our one daughter's name happens to be Oksana, but the charity is named Oksana's Harvest, not after our daughter, but another gentleman and his wife from the Maritimes that adopted a daughter, Oksana, from an orphanage in Ukraine, and he's an outstanding individual from a Christian-based perspective. He's puts his efforts where his mouth is, and once or generally twice a year he goes over to Ukraine and does initiatives at orphanages and building greenhouses and providing resources of finances to installing new windows or water heaters and anything needed at these orphanages to help provide a better life for children, and teaching them how to grow food and giving them So we've tried to help in providing resources financially and asking friends that we have throughout Facebook or locally that they want to participate, that we're helping be the conduit to supporting Oksana's Harvest.
Hey, that's amazing, and I'm sure it's a really good feeling to be giving back and to being involved, especially with children from that region there. So good on you. That's an amazing story. It's very cool. So let's look at wrapping this up here, Marcel. I really appreciate you coming on board, and I appreciate your business, and always appreciate well, the people that we get to work with in this business, it's pretty amazing. And, I really enjoy and respect you working with you. Just to wrap it up, though, we talked about this a little bit. I asked you if you had an interesting story, that your kind of go-to story you'd tell at a cocktail party. I told you mine. I won't share it here, but we kind of had a good laugh, like everyone did at the time at my expense. But I'm a big boy. My feelings aren't too hurt. But I didn't know if you had an interesting story you wanted to relate. I know your mind was turning a bit there, and you had one story that was really entertaining, but probably couldn't tell here. And you had another story about Dave Beach. I didn't know if you want to tell that one or another story, but you have an interesting story to wrap up the session with for the folks.
Well, I guess, I'm trying to think of a quality one. I guess ultimately, my son's in his first year of agriculture at U of S, and he's a lot more disciplined than I was. He hasn't gone on any road trips to Barnum or the Big Aggie dance at U of A, and that was something that's what kind of spread my university degree out into 5 years, was a little bit too much involvement there. But nonetheless, I wouldn't change a thing about what happened there. And one of the stories was their bus trip to the first Barnum, I guess it was 1986, and how we're driving through Lloydminster and our back wheels of our bus passed us. It was a dual axle bus, and the one set of wheels went flying past us and took out some signs. And unfortunately, nobody was hurt or injured, and we were fine as 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, because we had to get to Edmonton to start the pub crawl. And we got there on time for the pub crawl, but nonetheless, so part of this bit here is the and some of these people could be listening, perhaps Rod Turner or Earl Greenhoff or Red Chandro or all these quality U of A people that I got to meet at some of these trips and became friends through trade shows and through this industry, and people that either will call me up or I'll call them up or meet them in funny places like Ukraine or wherever, and incredible how this how some of these parties have from my very early years have become lifelong friends. But so that's my only story.
That's amazing. Yeah. No, and you got lots of great followers and connections in the industry, and that's a huge resource with what you're doing. It's amazing how those connections you make in school last a lifetime for sure and come in really handy later in life.
Absolutely.
Well, it has been a pleasure to talk to you. I really appreciate you coming on board, and I appreciate your business and being an advocate, and can't wait till we can do your whole farm again soon. We'll be starting another year or two and starting it all over again.
Yeah, no, there's another 3,000 acres to hit, and hopefully another home run this year, and we'll continue to probably start over again with the application. So
right,
real good. Yeah, thanks for the opportunity to come on board this morning with you guys.
Yeah, it was really fun. I hope everybody enjoyed it, and we'll put this on the internet, I guess, eventually for everybody's listening and viewing pleasure. Thanks for all the dealers that attended, and well, I guess we'll see you in Saskatoon. Hey, Marcel.
Absolutely, yeah. We'll see you at some of these traveling road shows.
It will be really, really good. Well, thanks so much for Marcel for you coming on board here on the call, and keep up the good work in the industry. Keep tweeting away and sharing your story with everybody. And yeah, we'll see you in Saskatoon.
Absolutely, all the best. Thank you.
Thank you. Take care, everybody. Have a good one. We'll see you in Saskatoon.
10-4.